Do you hear it? Do you feel it? It is palpable around Oxford, Mississippi, and everywhere else where there are Ole Miss fans. There is excitement about this Lane Kiffin squad in 2024. Walker Jones, the head of the Grove Collective, told us that for a couple of years now, it's been a mission to have this team fully stocked, fully loaded, ready to go by the time the 12-team playoff came around. And that is exactly what Ole Miss has done. They are loaded for bear as we head into this 2024 football season. Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer. Thank you so much for tuning in here to SEC Unfiltered, the best SEC entity on the internet, as we go into some bold predictions for Ole Miss football in 2024. As we said, it's all about talent. It's all about the acquisition of that talent. And then, of course, we know what Lane Kiffin is able to do on the offensive side of things. And Pete Golden now has plenty of weapons over there on the defensive side. So we are going to just jump right in to these bold predictions for the Rebels here right after we pay the bills real quick. Just want to let you know, guys, that we have a partnership with MyBookie. And if you are wanting to place a bet out there, if you're wanting to find something to have a little extra action on, then mybookie.ag is the place for you to do it. Listen, March Madness is right around the corner, okay? And there are going to be so many games to bet on, so many prop bets inside of those games. Literally anything you could want, it is there. You've heard the name everywhere, MyBookie. They're the industry's leading online sports book and casino, and it's not hard to understand why, with thousands of lines to bet on all your favorite sports, guys, whether that's they have the March Madness going on, NBA. You'll have baseball going on here, MLB before too long, MMA fights. You've got soccer matches, everything you could want to get the latest odds. Go to mybookie.ag. Period. You've got it. Take advantage of MyBookie's prop builder and live in-game betting. Every single play of every single game, guys. Visit their mobile friendly website today, mybookie.ag, and get your deposit matched halfway up to $1,000 by just using the promo code SECU, as you see there on the screen. They take deposits in a variety of different ways. So whether you're at home on the go, on your laptop, on your phone, whatever, you can bet, win, and get paid with mybookie.ag. So hit them up today, guys. We greatly appreciate that. Now let's jump right in to these bold predictions. And bold prediction number one for this Ole Miss season in 2024 will be that Trey Harris will win the Biletnikoff Award as the best receiver in all of college football. Listen, guys, when he was healthy last year for Ole Miss, he was an absolute force. I mean, there was just no doubt about it. He was a guy that you couldn't stop. You had to have had to have a plan for, had to account for in limited action. Like I said, he was out for a good amount of time with injuries and things of that, but he had 54 receptions, 985 yards, 8 touchdowns, average 18.2 yards per reception, guys. That is just a high level of production. And if he had had a full season, I guarantee you he's up over the 1,200, 1,300 yard mark. Touchdowns would have been even way more up than what they were. He's the type of guy that Jackson Dart knows that if he gets a one-on-one matchup with, it's over. The defense is going to have to account for him in multiple ways, whether that's bracket coverage, things of that nature. And it makes it hard to do at Ole Miss now with what they've brought in and what they retained. Having a tight end alone and Caden Prescorn, you saw what he did at the bowl game against Penn State, really kind of a coming out party for him there in a huge way. And when you've got a guy that can control the middle like that can work the intermediate, and then you still have to worry about Trey Harris on the outside over the top. Now you add Juice Wells into the mix. You've still got Jordan Watkins there. I mean, there's so many weapons that you have to worry about. Plus, oh, by the way, Jackson Dart can pull it down and run it. You got Ulysses Bentley and Logan Diggs in the backfield. So I'm telling you, there's so many weapons that I don't think teams are going to be able to just totally take Trey Harris out of the equation the way that they need to. And I think he'll be the best receiver in all of college football when it's said and done. Trey Harris will win the Bolitnikoff Award. That's bold prediction number one here for us at SEC Unfiltered for Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Bold prediction number two, the Ole Miss Rebels will have a top 20 scoring defense and total defense in 2024. Why is that a big deal? Why is that such a bold prediction? Well, when you look at it, Ole Miss has not had a scoring defense ranked higher than 47th in the country during the Lane Kiffin era, and they have not had a total defense, meaning the amount of yards allowed during games, higher than 70th in the country during the Lane Kiffin era. So, guys, that is a huge jump forward, but Pete Golding is going to have an immense amount of talent to get it done with. When you look at Walter Nolan, he's quite simply the best player in the country at his position. That doesn't happen a lot. That hasn't happened a lot for Ole Miss in terms of on the defensive side of the football, but he is absolutely elite and can be a game breaker. You have to account for him in your pass protection and your run schemes in a way where you're trying to get two bodies on him, because if you leave too many one-on-one matchups, it's going to be hard for your offensive front to hold up against him. He's an Aaron Donald type player to me, maybe even with better size than Aaron Donald, but he's going to be a guy that is disruptive, that can come just play after play, and really he strikes well with his hands, but he's also quick enough to get by and create penetration in the backfield and really blow up plays. So Walter Nolan added to Jared Ivey, added to JJ Pegues, added to Princely Emmanuel, who comes over from Florida as one of the better edge rushers in the SEC. That now is with the Rebels. That is a very formidable front seven. Oh, and by the way, you get Chris Pooh Paul over from Arkansas, who is going to fortify that linebacker position as well. Just a tremendous job of acquiring that talent that was available out there by Ole Miss, by the Grove Collective this past offseason, because that is a place they knew they needed to get better at. And another place they got better at was at the corner position. Trey Amos was going to be a starting corner for Alabama in 2024. Make no bones about it. You saw when he was in the game for Alabama this past year, at times, whether it was Terrion Arnold or Kool-Aid McKinstry needing a break or going down with a little nagging injury or something along those lines, Trey Amos would be in there, and sometimes he'd be in there just as a third corner. He has length. He's able to stay in phase and play the ball in the air. Trey Amos is a talented cornerback and someone that I think is going to be very good for Ole Miss in 2024. Anytime you get a player, and I don't care what the state of the Alabama program is, anytime you get a player that was going to be a starter for Alabama, then you're doing something right, okay? Because Trey Amos is going to be a difference maker at the corner position for Ole Miss in 2024. And Pete Golding, if he has a top 20 scoring defense and top 20 total defense with what they have offensive firepower wise on the other side, this is going to make Ole Miss a very good football team in 2024. How good of a team, you ask? Well, good enough that it leads us to this third bold prediction. I think that the November 9th game at home in Oxford versus the Georgia Bulldogs will be for a spot in the SEC championship game. Yes, guys, I think that it's a schedule that is very manageable. I think the game at LSU is going to be the trickiest one leading into this. Of course, you play Oklahoma, and you also play at Arkansas, which, you know, anytime you go on the road is never easy. But I think Ole Miss is more talented and deeper than both of those teams. And then when it comes down to it, Georgia, listen, having to come on the road late in the season, it won't be an easy environment. Vaught Hemingway Stadium will be absolutely rocking. And I think it's a deal where you're going to see, at worst, a one-loss Ole Miss team taking on, at worst, a one-loss Georgia team. And I think this will be for a spot in the SEC championship game. You have Texas, who I think will be very good. You have Missouri, who I think will be very good. Alabama, we'll see what they're going to be this year. But when it comes down to it, I think this game sets you up for a just head-to-head matchup of who gets in that SEC championship game. It could also be for playoff seeding, guys, because I think both of these teams have a major opportunity to make the college football playoff at large bids at worst in the 2024 season here. So this game on November 9th is going to be huge for a variety of reasons, but I think those are my three bold predictions here at SEC Unfiltered for the Ole Miss Rebels. Make sure to leave your comments. Tell us what you think about those predictions. Tell us what your bold predictions are for Lane Kiffin, Pete Golding, Jackson Dart, Ulysses Bentley, everybody on that Ole Miss team in 2024. What are your bold predictions for the Rebels this upcoming year? Guys, make sure you follow SEC Unfiltered on all the socials that you see down there, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever, TikTok. Just use at SEC Unfiltered. You can follow me using at BGilmer18. Remember our promo code SECU on mybookie.ag to get your 50% deposit match on up to $1,000. And head over to our website, secunfiltered.com, for college football blogs and information and everything that you would like over there on the SEC, and not just football, but also basketball, baseball, a lot going on over there on SEC Unfiltered. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And we'll catch you guys next time to talk more Ole Miss and more SEC right here on the best SEC entity on the internet, SEC Unfiltered.